Okay, picture this. A genetically engineered virus leaks from some top-secret lab. Civilization collapses. You know, the stuff you see in movies like Resident Evil, right?
Yeah, classic Hollywood trope.
But, like, how far is that from? Well, from reality. What if I told you using disease as a weapon isn't just sci-fi? It's actually, it's ancient. And maybe more dangerous now than ever before.
That's exactly what we're diving into today. We're going into, let's say, the darker side of science, where biology, the science of life, gets twisted into something, well, destructive.
So we're talking the whole history. Ancient times up to, what, genetic weapons?
Pretty much. From poison arrows to CRISPR, we want to give you the full picture, those aha moments, you know, without it feeling like you're drowning in jargon, a sharp, thorough understanding. That's the mission.
Right. Let's start with biology itself. I mean, it's this amazing science, isn't it? Understanding life, manipulating nature's code.
Absolutely.
And it's given us so much good stuff. Treating genetic diseases, fighting cancer, vaccines, saving millions, crops that fight hunger. It's always been key to solving big problems.
It really has. But, and this is the unsettling part, it's a classic double-edged sword. That same CRISPR tech that might fix a faulty gene in the wrong hands, it could engineer a supervirus, make it deadlier, more contagious. The knowledge behind antibiotics, well, flip that and you could breed superbugs resistant to everything.
So the good science inherently creates the potential for dark science.
Precisely. It's this paradox, this inherent danger that comes with such powerful knowledge. You can't really separate the two potentials.
It's unnerving. Okay, so let's nail it down. Biological weapons.
Yeah.
What exactly are we talking about? What's the definition?
Okay, so basically, a biological weapon is when someone deliberately uses a disease-causing agent like a germ or a toxin to harm people, animals, or even plants.
Agents.
Yeah.
Like what specifically?
Well, they generally fall into three main buckets. First, you've got bacteria. These are tiny, single-celled things. They get in a host, multiply, and cause disease either by releasing toxins or basically eating host cells. Anthrax is the famous example here.
Right, anthrax. Heard of that. Okay, what's next?
Next up are viruses, even tinier than bacteria. They invade your cells and hijack them, turn them into little virus factories. Smallpox.
Yeah.
That's a really nasty virus example. Thankfully gone from the wild now, but it was definitely considered for weaponization.
Wow. Okay, bacteria, viruses, and the third.
Toxins. These are poisons, essentially, but they're produced by living things. Like snake venom, certain plants, even some bacteria or fungi produce them. They attack your nervous system or your cells directly.
Any examples?
The big one is botulinum toxin, actually the deadliest poison known to humans. You can find it in, like, improperly canned food sometimes.
Yikes. Okay, so bacteria, viruses, toxins. What makes them so terrifying as weapons?
Yeah.
Compared to, say, a bomb?
It's their ability to multiply and spread silently. That's the key. It's like an invisible army. It can spread through a city, a whole country, before anyone even knows they're under attack. That insidious nature, that's what makes them uniquely scary.
An invisible army. That is chilling. And you said this isn't new. People have been doing this for ages.
Oh, yeah. Ages. We're talking ancient history. Go back to around 600 BC, you had the Assyrians poisoning enemy wells with fungus.
Seriously? 600 BC?
Yep. And maybe even more systematically, the Scythians, they were this ancient Iranian warrior tribe. They used to dip their spear tips in this absolutely disgusting mix of blood, snake venom, rotting flesh.
Why?
The goal wasn't just the initial wound, it was the infection. Lingering, painful infections that would kill enemies long after the battle. It shows they understood, even then, how powerful disease could be. You know, soldiers often didn't even clean blood off their swords for the same reason, hope it carried infection.
Wow. The psychological terror must have been immense, too.
Yeah.
Knowing it was deliberate.
Exactly. Now, jump forward to medieval times. 1346 AD, the Siege of Caffa. This is maybe the most infamous example.
What happened there?
The Mongol army was besieging the city, but plague broke out among their own soldiers. So what did they do? They started catapulting the plague-infected corpses over the city walls.
No.
Yes. And it was horrifyingly effective, caused a massive outbreak inside Caffa. But here's the kicker. Merchants fleeing Caffa, they carried the plague with them to Europe.
You mean the Black Death?
Many historians believe it was a major trigger for the Black Death. The plague that wiped out, maybe a third of Europe's population, started potentially with a deliberate act of biological warfare.
That's staggering. And it didn't stop there, right? More modern times.
Sadly, no. World War II, you had the Japanese Army's infamous Unit 731. horrific experiments on prisoners, and they actually dropped plague-infected fleas on Chinese cities. It's this dark thread that just keeps reappearing throughout history.
So the intent was always there, just the methods got more sophisticated. What happened when we got into the era of superpowers in modern science?
Right, that's when things really escalated. The Cold War. The U.S. and the Soviet Union were locked in this secret arms race, and yeah, biological weapons were a big part of it.
Both sides.
Both sides. The U.S. program, Fort Detrick, large-scale anthrax production. But honestly, the Soviet program called Biopreparat, it was way bigger, more advanced. They reportedly mass-produced smallpox, even created designer strains, more resistant ones that existing vaccines might not have worked against.
Smallpox strains resistant to vaccines. That's terrifying. But aren't these weapons banned now? There are treaties, right?
There are. The Biological Weapons Convention officially bans production, but, and this is a big but, many countries, including Russia, the U.S., China, the U.K., they still conduct research. Officially, it's framed as defensive studies.
Defensive studies. So studying threats to build defenses.
That's the official line. But the true nature, the full extent of these programs, it's highly classified. We just don't know everything that's going on behind closed doors. Transparency it's a huge issue.
Okay, so the research continues, maybe under wraps. What about the future then? With tech like gene editing, CRISPR you mentioned.
Yeah, this is where it gets truly disturbing. CRISPR and similar technologies. They make designing pathogens, tailored diseases much, much easier. It's not science fiction anymore.
Like what? What kind of things are possible?
Well, imagine a virus engineered to target only people with a specific genetic marker. A weapon that could, in theory, target a specific ethnicity.
Oh my God.
Or viruses designed with really long, precise incubation periods. They could spread silently through a population for months, then suddenly activate all at once. Think about engineering bacteria or viruses to be resistant to every single antibiotic or vaccine we have.
Is this actually happening?
Here's the really chilling part. Many of these techniques are already being used for good things, like treating diseases, developing better crops, fighting pests. So the methods exist, it seems. Unlikely that no one has thought about weaponizing them. And we've definitely seen, suspected biological assassinations pop up in the news now and then.
Okay, so with all this secrecy and potential, what's the absolute biggest fear? The nightmare scenario.
It's what you touched on earlier, the unintended consequences, these things getting out of control, viruses, bacteria. They don't care about borders. They mutate, they spread. A weapon could easily turn on its creators. You could have a global pandemic that makes COVID-19 look mild, something that wipes out billions. That loss of control, that's the ultimate terror.
Yeah, the dark side is definitely terrifying. But like you said, it's only one side of the coin.
Exactly. We have to remember the other side. This same science, this knowledge of biology, it's curing diseases, making lives longer, feeding the planet. Biology itself isn't good or evil. It's just a tool, a really, really powerful tool.
And history seems pretty clear, doesn't it? When we use that tool for destruction, it just leads to suffering, devastation, and, like you said, uncontrollable consequences.
Absolutely. So maybe the real deep dive takeaway here isn't just about the weapons themselves, but about this duality. Every amazing biological discovery brings this shadow potential with it, which leads to, I guess, the big question for you, for everyone listening.
Yeah.
Given how fast biology is moving, how do we as individuals, as nations, make sure this incredibly powerful double-edged sword gets used for good, for human benefit, and not for global catastrophe? What choices do we need to make?
Something to definitely think about. Until next time, goodbye.